Hello, everyone. Welcome to Eyes Wide Open. This is Donna Schmid, your host, with my co-host, Phyllis Tempest. And today we're doing something a little bit extraordinary, I'm going to call it, because I'm going to be channeling and Phyllis is really going to interview me or ask some questions. So I have absolutely no idea what the questions are, but I'm sure they're really good. And so with that, I think I'll just turn it over to Phyllis and you let me know how you want to proceed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. I think that we have already touched many times on channeling and how to channel. And so we thought that this time would be something special and just show people how easy it is to actually channel what you hear or what comes through, and prove to people that it's not something that takes over your body, it's just you. So with that, if it's okay, we can get started. Are you ready, Donna?
Yeah, I just want to say something first because we did speak about this a little bit. Because I am who I am.
Yes.
It is very possible for me, and I do this all the time anyway, but I know for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna do it a little bit different. So channeling today for me is when you ask the questions, I am going to allow that information to come through me, full well knowing with intent and purpose that it is channeled information that's coming in. So if there is something else that I want to interject, I'll be sure to let you know that it's me interjecting and it's not coming from them. So with that, yes. Just give me just a few minutes to check with my people and see if they're ready as well too.
All right.
Okay, we're ready.
Greetings and welcome. And thank you for meeting with us, and whatever information that you are about to impart, we appreciate it very much. I'd like to get right into it. The first couple of questions are sort of personal, but I feel like that other people do the same thing. Sometimes when I sit down, it's like I can't keep my eyes open. I close them, and when you go to sleep, you drift into the sleep. Well, I'm gone. I'm totally gone. I hear nothing. I know nothing. But then what happens is I am living a life somewhere else. It's like I'm in a home, in a place or whatever, and life is just going on just like a normal life. Could you explain exactly what's happening at that time? Where do I go?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to come in and speak. We have waited for this for quite some time, as you know, dear Phyllis.
Yes.
And so we are grateful for the prodding that you do with your friend, because we too prod on this side as well too. We love your question and really enjoy the fact that we get to shed some light on on what's happening with you. As you well know, and maybe others watching do, that the veil as you perceive it is thinning, but really in all actuality, the energy is shifting. And when that shift is occurring, then it's possible, very possible, for you to be consciously aware of different timelines. And so that's really what you're doing. How fun for you to be able to go into an alternate timeline, because it's not just you that is living out what you perceive to be the only life here on the planet Earth, but also multiple timelines. And this is why we like to caution people in their thinking, because as they think, as they also create or manifest. So if you are thinking, say, about something that you might want to do, a plan of some sort, and you put it into motion, and this is a great way to manifest as well too, we want to note as a sidebar, but you are creating in a way in your mind with all of your physical senses, but also your hypersensitive senses as a soul being, and you're creating this timeline, and then you live out the timeline, which, by the way, you can also shift the timeline. You can also, if you're not quite pleased with the way things are going, you can also alter the timeline as well. So that's a great question, and it also can lead into what's happening right now today on the planet, because there are alternate timelines playing out. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, yes, it does. Thank you. I knew it was different than just going to sleep at night, because you drift into that. And this is just immediately, I'm immediately there. And then all of a sudden, it's like I pop out of that life and I'm back. You know, it's very strange. It's
Yeah.
just not what I'm used to.
It could be very disconcerting because we're not
Yeah.
used to it and we don't know what it is. And it's not really like you're dreaming, because there's a different vibration to it. So you know something's happening, but you're not quite sure what it is. Yeah, that's great. As time goes on, you'll become more familiar with it, and then you can play with it if you'd like.
Okay, thank you. Another question is, I've listened to several interviews about your death experiences, and as people, they may not know, I don't know, but I have had one. And from what I can understand, most people, you know, their life flashes in front of them, or they feel, you know, what they've done to other people. They feel that they go down a tunnel. I mean, just all kinds of things. I just immediately was in the presence of a bright, loving light. I didn't journey to this place. I was just like, I was plopped down right in front of that loving light and had a conversation. And of course, I had a choice on whether to come back or not. And I chose to come back. Could you shed some light on that? You know, it's, you know, I hear everybody else's where, oh, I saw this person. I didn't see anybody. I just was in the presence of that light.
Yeah, your reference, well, most people's references are not the same, or as a collective, yes. However, it really depends upon the individuality or the uniqueness of the personality that is crossing over, because they're not officially, shall we say, completely separated to return to the other side, as you call it. So there is still that connection that's there. And so they take that personality with them. And what happens is, if they have religious belief systems, or whatever dogma is present with them, maybe some of them will see, if say if it's Catholic, they'll see all Catholicism in the angels and in Mother Mary and whoever is that they resonate very close with. And this is just to assist more than anything else. It's not that these energetic vibrations do not exist, because they do. They're master vibrations. However, they come in that form because they're familiar to them. And when you're placed in, when you first cross over, it is so shocking to the psyche and to the personality aspect of the humanness that we are, that it can be very disconcerting. And so that's why some people see things differently, and also depending upon how connected you are vibrationally with your soul group, with your teachers and guides. Some are not, some choose not to be, and their vibration might be very dense and very slow, and some might consider that negative, but on a spectrum of negative and positive, that is correct. However, it is not negative as in, if we're looking at it as good and bad. It's just a slower vibration, and so therefore they see things a whole lot different, and it's kind of like a rude awakening to them, because they come back and all of a sudden, they might discover Jesus Christ, or that kind of thing. And that's all right. It's just part of them, helping them in their soul growth and development. So for you to experience in particular what you experience, is because it's almost as if a driving force pulled you to where you came from, to where you needed to be. So you didn't have to necessarily go through all of that layers of tunnels and angels and whatever else. You immediately were drawn to where you came from, and that's where you'll go when you do in this lifetime as well too. So for you, it was different. It was different, and it was unique, as you are unique. Yes, and it's all a part of your own personality that you take with you in your soul growth and development. So that just shows that you have done a lot of work in the human form to rectify and cleanse, if you will, any past karma or any vibrations that are just holding back your growth and development.
Okay, thank you. That cleared that up. It's like, it's not important for me to be like other people, but I'm thinking, what happened? I missed all of it. But hey, that's okay. I don't mind. So
for
now
a very long time, Donna also experienced, because she did not have the same as what most people do that have near-death experiences. And so therefore she didn't want to accept and believe that she too had one, because it wasn't the same as others. And that relatively changed after time, when she realized that just because she wasn't the same, that it didn't mean she didn't do it. Or it also didn't mean because she actually died, in the sense that her heart stopped and she was confirmed stay dead for 5, 10, 15 minutes, because that did not happen as well too. So therefore she didn't want to believe that was a possibility. But she now knows there's plenty of others like her that didn't have that particular experience, but it didn't mean that she wasn't near death and experienced on the other side of the veil.
Yes. Well, I hope that has also helped others when they listen, to let people know that everybody experiences in a different way. I would like to change direction now, and maybe sort of touch on some things that are happening right now that are very on people's minds, very much on people's minds. One of them is, my work with the planet, and how I have been able to help Mother Earth and everything upon her. And now it seems that Mother Earth is going through some changes herself. There are a lot of fires. Of course, the chemtrails I know aren't very good, but the fires, the floods, could you shed some light on exactly what is happening? The volcano in Hawaii, there's just so much happening on Mother Earth right now. Could you shed some light on that?
Sure, we'd be happy to. If you think about, if we use an analogy of having a wound, a deep wound, and what happens in the physical body is, with a wound that is deep, it will close it off. It will seal it off so that it doesn't interfere with the rest of the organism around it, the skin, the blood, and so forth. So thinking of Mother Earth as she has closed off these wounds, and these wounds have been many, many, many of your Earth years of of negative vibration, hate and fear and violence, and the list goes on that I can pack into that wound, so to speak. And she has sealed it off. Well, now there's a point in time, just like all of the human race is beginning to experience, not just planet Earth herself, but also those that inhabit around it and on it and beneath it, that is allowing this wound to begin to surface like a pus pocket, if you will. And so therefore, when that happens, the immune system of the physical body begins to be activated to assist in healing. And so the immune system, if you will, of Mother Earth has been activated to assist in her healing. So with this fire that you see is like the fever in the physical body coming forth to call in all of the white blood cells to come and assist in the healing aspect of it. And it's coming to the surface and it's erupting. So it's erupting and you're seeing it as in these great earthquakes and the volcanoes. It is being released from the depths of being pushed down. And just like as humans, you tend to push these negative aspects that's going on in your life down deep into your gut, and then it comes to a point where you can't hold the food down that you eat, or you cannot get any more good nourishment, because you've put this down. Now it's wanting to come back up, and it could come back up in many ways. Vomiting is one of them in the physical body. So Mother Earth is vomiting all of this poison that is in her beingness, and that's what's occurring with the earthquakes, with the volcanoes, with the hurricanes, the tornadoes. And yes, in the meantime, yes, we have those that are, if you will, hell-bent, if you will say, that want to not lose their power and their grip on these many years, centuries old of control. And so they're wanting to also control the weather system and for their own malevolent purposes. So that is going on right at the moment too. It's all coming to a head. It's all just filtering up, and it's ugly. It's ugly to see. It's ugly to witness. But yet, when you're talking about healing the earth, if you can send her the healing energy she needs. So think about what you would do if this was erupting in your own physical body. What would you do? Would you eat differently? Would you eat to strengthen the immune system? And what would that look like when you're helping Gaia to strengthen her immune system? Remember, we all interact with each other. So just the aspect of doing it for yourself also does it for her, also does it for those around. And when you spread that information and share it, then others begin to do it as well too.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Because I was going to ask, what could we do to help her? I know with the connection that I have with Mother Earth, I feel her pain. And so I know sometimes it's really intense.
Mhm.
And so
Cool compresses. If you have a heat, if something is coming up, and there's, it does look like a volcano on the physical body. So if you put a cold compress around it. So you can also do this energetically when you talk about, I'm glad you started with this kind of going in a different timeline with your dream state. So if you got into an alpha state of relaxation, and your intent and purpose was to assist Mother Earth, and then taking a cold compress and placing it around the wound, around that. So for instance, if we're seeing this Hawaiian eruption, and it's a huge eruption with the volcano, then we can take a cold compress. Gosh, we can even go to the North Pole and gather up some ice from the North Pole or for some snow and create a pack and place it around there to help cool the area off. So that pack might not necessarily be in Hawaii. It could be spread out into the ocean to cool the ocean waters down so that it could assist. But use your great intuitive guide what you as a mother would with a child. What is it that how I can help? How can I best serve this and assist?
So if we took our hands and imagined the planet in our hands and we're bringing in loving energy and healing energy, then that would also help. That wouldn't it wouldn't negatively affect anything or stop anything that's supposed to go on. Am I correct?
Always ask with your intention, ask for the highest and greatest good for what you're doing. So the intention is set. So this or something better, this or whatever is needed. And also you can ask what is needed. How can I best assist this planet as she's going through and releasing these toxins from her energy system? What is it that she needs? And then you will be shown what it is that she needs. And then you create it. You can also do a hologram yourself, and you can take anything to create a hologram. It could be in the shape of a circle because the earth is round, or anything really. It could even be your stuffed animals. But if you take it and you say 3 times, this is the hologram of Gaia or of Mother Earth, or however you are creating a hologram, so that when you work on Mother Earth, you're working on the ball, or you're working on the stuffed animal, but that is the hologram of Mother Earth. And then when you're finished, you collapse it down, collapse it with your hands, and give blessings and thanks that you were able to do this. It's a very simple process, and everyone is very capable of doing that as well too, but always with your intention to never interfere, but always to assist. So what can I do to assist? It's the same thing, if you call the pediatrician because your child's sick and said, what can I do to assist to help my child feel better? So you're asking spirit, which is in the form of the pediatrician, you're asking the spirit for assistance in helping your child. Am I making it clear with an analogy that way so that it's easier to understand?
Yes, very much so. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. The last few years, I know that people have noticed chemtrails that are coming back. They were gone for a while during the last election reign, presidential reign, but now they're coming back with a vengeance. I know that we have to breathe the air. And I also know that when we eat, we can bless our food with our hands to change the frequency of that food. Is there something we can do with the air that will deter those chemtrails and the harmful ingredients that are they're dumping on us, so that it does not harm our physical body?
Mm-hmm. In the same token as you're working with Gaia, you can work in the same way, except that you're, instead of working with the physical aspect of it, you can work with as we say, the air, the fire, water. What am I missing? What is there? Fire.
So the elements?
Yes, the elements of Mother Gaia. So you're working with air, and it's the same principle that we just described, and you do the same thing. Now, you could do this for the smoke that is coming out of the forest fires that are in the Canadian area. Yeah. So how do you quell a forest fire? How? And if you ask, then when you have a campfire, what do you do to stop the campfire? You smother the fire. So in asking, you're asking the fire element to depressed. So if you cover it with your hands or with something that you know that you would do with a campfire to cover it with maybe some dirt. So you're asking the element of earth to come in and help to, you see what I'm saying? You're using all the
Yes.
elements to assist so
Yes.
that they balance. But the same token is if Mother Earth needs to release that in order for the healing, then we need to allow her to do that. And in the same token, we can ask, fine, then can, in this release, that those around are not harmed in their breathing, in their homes. Nothing is in danger of them and their homes, of them from getting food. So you can ask for that so that it's more contained and it doesn't go ballistic.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Because I know that in the past, people would say, all you have to do is just stand outside with your hands up and you won't be harmed with the chemtrails. And it's like, okay, but there's got to be another element to that. That's and so working with the element of air, that was the missing piece that I felt like there was something else there. So
yes,
thank you.
And this takes a certain amount of a very strong belief in your ability to be able to guide the energy and call in the energy. And you can also do this for yourself, for your own body, is to line your lungs with the energy necessary so that it doesn't get clogged with whatever chemicals are in that are being released. And so it doesn't harm you in that way. Put a protective layer on the skin of your outside covering so that these chemicals cannot get in. Notice that I am guiding that information and giving it, charging it with instructions on what I wanted to do.
Yes.
Yes. Making it very clear. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to change direction again, unless you have something else to say about the planet and what's going on with her.
No, we enjoy your questions.
Okay. So I'd like to change directions again and go more toward a thing that a lot of people don't go there, and that is a little bit about politics. Yesterday, again, Trump was indicted. A lot of people are losing faith. They are losing trust. But in the meantime, they're waking up. That is causing them to look around and see exactly, that something isn't right. Something hasn't been right for a long time in our democracy. So I would like to ask if you have any words to help people to hang in there. Do you have anything that you can expand on with this whole fiasco? Because it is, to me, it is nothing but a to get your focus off of other things that are really going on. But I'd like to hear from you to see what you have to say.
Well, Trump surely has ripped the Band-Aid off of the sore, hasn't he? Yes. Mr. Trump has been given, he's undertaken a huge soul contract during these times, and we admire his tenacity and his perseverance. He is a very dedicated, and most humans would not stand the heat, so to speak. And there are times when he too gets a little like, what am I doing? But he's very much aware of what his soul contract is and how it's to play out. So getting to his indictment, um,
There have been many.
there's most, I mean, it's been said over and over and over and over and over and echoed into the heavens that yes, he's going to be arrested and he's such a criminal and he's done all these things. But it's interesting, if you look closely, those that are spewing that from their mouth, it's like the one finger points to him and the other three point back at them. So really what's actually is happening is, since we tried to awaken them and give them a choice to heal, and they're still stuck in the mud with their heads in the dirt. So instead, it's turned on them so that they can see, hopefully someday, that they can see that he is mirroring what's really going on. So, and those that of you that are awake and aware, so that you like to call that, can see that there is another president that's similarly doing things almost the same and getting a different result. How interesting is that? How fascinating is that for you all to witness that? So I can't remember, I'm jogging her memory. There is a saying, she likes the saying. Let me see if we can dig it out of the crevice there in her vocabulary. Insanity. It's the definition of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So
Yeah.
this whole entire planet has been insane with this craziness. And now people are waking up going, we can't do the same thing anymore because it's not working. And it's getting to the point of things are deteriorating, and our everyday lives are being affected. And it's, you can't stick your head in the ground anymore, people. You can't do that because it's affecting you in everything, in the food that you buy, in the work that you do, in the contacts you have. It's impossible for you to stick your head in the dirt anymore. So you got to start waking up and going, okay, this is mirroring something within the physical being that needs to be addressed and it needs to be healed. So we ask each individual that is looking out upon this, and we'll take what you had mentioned, that they're losing faith. You didn't use the word faith. What is the word that you
the trust and the faith in the democracy? Yes.
Yes. Oh, so good. Because if you turn that back to you, you're losing faith and you're losing trust within yourself of being able to do the things that you need to do to heal your own soul, to expand more. And so for you to continue, and you not personally, but for you to continue out of yourself, to trust in others that you perceive know better than you, when you have an entire spiritual team that you can trust in and have faith in, that can assist you in whatever it is that you want, and all we need to do is call on them. So we encourage people to call on their spiritual team for assistance. So if you don't know what to do, the same with when you're talking about the volcanoes and the earthquakes and the chemtrails, then do it within yourself. How can you have more trust? How can you trust yourself to know what is true and what is not, what is real and what is fake? They talk so much in social media about disinformation and misinformation, but that is within you. That is within you. All of these ideas and beliefs that have been just slammed into you, and now they're not resonating. They're bouncing off each other, because it is imperative for you to begin to realize what really is and what really isn't, and just look at it as, again and again, as an observer. Just observe. Do not give it energy by judging it, by slamming it. You give it energy, and you can say, oh, wow, this really just makes my rocket just quiver. Yeah, that's great. That's great, because turn it on yourself as you are observing what is around you. So that is how people can begin to understand better of what's happening in politics, in the business world, in homelessness, in whatever it is you want to call it, in the drugs. It is festering up and festering up, so people can begin to see it. Same with pedophiles and with children being kidnapped, slavery, prostitution. It's always been there, and it is part of the nastiness of energy of the planet, and it's been stuffed down, and now it's becoming up, and people are just, oh, I had no idea that this was going on. This is awful. You're beginning to understand of what really was happening, and you have the ability now to change it and shift it.
Thank you. That shows a different perspective. When everything is connected, everything, and where what we see, as I've always heard, what you see in another, if you don't like it, then look within yourself. And so that's where we're waking up. And again, with the belief system, I see more and more of my beliefs and my choices, the things I like, the things I don't like, they're changing, they're shifting, they're changing. It's difficult anymore for me to just sit down and watch a movie, because I see all the fake. I see all the things that are not true, they're not real, and I don't want to waste my time with it. And so it's interesting that we are also a reflection of Mother Earth, and she is a reflection of us, because we're all going through this at the same time. So, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Well,
I know that Donna has listened to a piece of news this morning about the killer, they're not called the killer whales, the pods, the whales are attacking boats. They're attacking. It's interesting for them to even come up and be so, they're protesting. They're protesting just like you're protesting. They're protesting, and they're getting that out. And it's like all of a sudden.
Yes.
Yes.
And they were here long before humans were here. And they have seen so much more than what we have seen. That does bring another question to my mind. I have heard from several that this will be the sixth extinction of humanity, of the earth, the world, or whatever. Do we really have to go through that extinction? I know that, in periods of time, there was nobody left on the planet, and all of that. If you go back to the big one is Noah, and there's been disasters and everything. And I know the planet's going to be just fine. She's gonna be all right. But my question is, they're still saying, well, some that are channeling and are saying that we're going to go through an extinction. Does that have to be so?
Well, I'd like to talk with these channelers and see what their description of extinction is. Usually, extinction is when it's not necessary anymore, and then it's evolved. there's an awakening. And so that species, if you will, if we're talking about a certain, let's say like an animal species, it's extinct now. We'll take the dinosaur. And it has evolved. Well, it has evolved to what? Because it has transformed into something else. So some might say, oh, turtle, lizard, you know, those kinds of things. So it's the same thing with the human aspect of it. It is that what is it? The slave trade has, it's extinct. It has evolved into something else.
Yes. Okay.
So it's the same thing. If they want to say, yes, it's extinct, but it will evolve into a more refined, energetic state. And that's about as simplest I could perceive, but what I can do to assist in the understanding of that. So it's not like everyone's going to die at a certain date, and then there's nothing, because that is not true. We are evolving. We evolve. If you think about looking back, how much we have evolved from
Yes.
where we started.
Yes.
Okay.
So is that sort of like, okay, we evolve out of the matrix? And I know there are tribes that have just disappeared. My belief is the reason that they just disappeared is because they did reach that frequency, that vibration, that they're in a higher dimension. They're no longer here on this earth in a lower dimension, but they just crossed over to a different dimension, sort of like my dreams. You just into another universe. And they're still living
into a portal where a portal became available to them, because you're correct, because the vibration changed. So portal became available to them, and then there was a choice to move into a different timeline. And that is what has occurred. So and that took a lot, let's just say, of transformation in order for that to happen. And this is why we have even our extraterrestrial cousins and brothers are able to use the portals, because their vibration is different. Their vibration is a different frequency, and so they can see it, and then they can use it to travel.
Yes. Okay. That
And I know you understand this because you worked very much with portals, and so they all had specific intentions and specific reasons for being available. For instance, you work very closely with Gaia, so yes.
Okay, well, thank you.
But they didn't disappear.
They didn't go extinct.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Okay, well, that is right now all the topics that I would like to delve into until next time. But if you have anything else that you would like to say, anything that you would like to help us to continue the journey that we're all on right now, I would appreciate it.
There are many, many light workers, and as you pointed out, channelers, that and it's such a loose term as far as channeling. It is not the same. We'll say that term has become extinct. How's that?
Yes.
So things definitely have shifted. And there are some that like to play in that field, and that's fine, because they're assisting those that are not as well, the parts of their head are still in the ground. How's that? And Donna has personally witnessed this in a different way this past couple of weeks with her class that she is involved in. And interesting, we had a conversation with her last night in the dream state that because she was quizzing whether or not she still wanted to be a part of this group, because she felt like it was she wasn't benefiting from it, because it felt like she was just in kindergarten again, and that was her term. She didn't feel like she needed to take kindergarten again. And our teaching with her was that these people are in that place, and she was there once as well, and they need a place to start and learn as she did. And so there's little fine things that she may have missed, or is now thinking that they're not important. And so she is sitting through or redoing kindergarten so she can begin to sense these. And twofold, energetically, she's there because she's lifting them up. She's giving them encouragement. And whether or not she opens her mouth or not, because she's sitting there choosing not to, because she feels like it will go upon deaf ears. And so this is the same thing with doing podcasts, if you will, and talking social media. It's like sometimes it feels like these great teachers that have come and to do their soul work here feel like what they're doing is on deaf ears, and we can tell you that it's not, even though you may not see it in your numbers of viewers. It's still reaching out energetically, and dear one, it may even be going on a different timeline, one that is still in the kindergarten level, that will actually assist them as well too. So we'd love to keep working with you. We enjoy sharing the information, and as you learn more and grow more and bring this wisdom down into the planet, we will gather more for you. So we welcome your questions and your assistance. If you need us, please call on us, and we would love to continue. So thank you for calling upon us today. We are grateful.
Thank you so much. We look forward to next time.
As we. They said that wasn't so bad, was it? No. Wow.
That was very good.
Yeah, you had some great questions. Really.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They had some great answers.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned a lot too. Yeah. Well, and it clarified a lot of things too, which was good.
Yeah.
But there's always that aspect of me sometimes when I'm doing this. It's like, oh, deep down, I know that answer. I've experienced that before. I know it. I studied it. I know. And then it's like, yes, but it's easier for them to communicate when I have the hookups, so to speak. So things like with the quantum healing, then it's easier for them to pull that out and then expand on it, which is fascinating to me. So yeah.
Well, we touched on a lot of different subjects.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just seemed to flow, because I wasn't sure how I was going to, how they were going to do that, because I knew all I had to do was come up with questions. They would go into it. And it seemed to all connect to each other, because they even went back, in reference to a question I had before or something like that. And it's like, wow, that was just so smooth. Of course, they definitely, my fear was that, you know, how sometimes you have a list of questions, and when they answer one, shoot, most of your questions are already answered in that first in that first answer. And it's like, what am I going to do then? You know, it's
It's thoughtful on their part, wasn't it? Wow.
I
Yeah.
do wish, and you know, the next time I will definitely do this, but I do wish that I had have asked, you know, who was coming through, because a lot of people, you know, even though we don't have to know a name, because you know, we
Yeah.
know the energies.
Yeah.
A lot of people watching would definitely want to
Yeah. Yeah, and
know that.
I asked after we finished as well too. And I
Uh-huh.
just got a description, basically this is a young master from the realm, and it was like he's a spokesperson, and it was a male energy
Okay.
that I was experiencing, but a very young male energy. So this was an educational time for him as well too, to be a speaker for the group kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
You know, pretty it's like an honor, to be able to, okay, you're gonna be representing the group today. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Great.
was almost like, kind of, getting the tie all, groomed. I'm ready to go.
Uh,
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
it
No
was good.
name. No name. Yeah. And
I
I pretty much quit asking for a name unless
yeah,
they tell me,
yeah,
fine. Or
yeah,
I recognize um the different energies. But yeah.
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 It's like I said, you know, I don't need the name, but I know people listening would like to,
Yeah.
you know, and it's that's just because they want something to have a reference to.
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
you know,
I
Donna
have to tell
channeled
you
it.
too, I love when you ask the question about what other channelers are saying about extinction. And
Yeah,
it's
that
funny
just
because
popped into
it's
my mind. That wasn't
yeah,
even a question.
yeah. They hear the question before it comes out of your mouth. So I haven't got to hear the whole question, but he found it very comical. He was laughing. He was like waiting. Oh, let me talk about this.
It was weird because I did that definitely was not even a thought in my mind until then.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Who knows? And I enjoyed the fact that it was related to extinction, because it's like, how I feel about, being called a psychic or being called a channel or a medium. It's like, oh God, that's so
Yep.
old. It's like there's more to it than that. It's something has
Yes.
changed, shifted. And I love how that was confirmed. What was happening
Yes.
all around, it was confirming that as well too. And then you starting out with your, and I don't want to call it a dream, but your experience, in that
Mhm,
kind of theta state, alpha theta state,
mhm.
in both places. That was really good. Yeah, thank you for that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about, you know, okay, this is more personal than you know what I should do, but then it was just like no, because other people are doing this now too, and
Mhm.
that helps them to understand that sometimes I just cannot keep my eyes open and I sit down, or if I'm watching TV, I know as quick as I close my eyes, I'm gone. And
Mhm.
it's not asleep. It is
Mhm.
gone. I'm living in another life of mine,
Mhm.
you know, and
Yeah.
it's like, this is really different. It's
Mhm.
different.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Fascinating. Mhm.
and you know, sometimes I think that they actually, I don't know if that life draws me into that parallel, I call it parallel life, or
Mhm.
if spirit is like, okay, we need you to go to sleep now so that um you can play your part and see what you're doing here and see what you're doing there so that you can, you know, choose.
Mhm.
So that was good.
Yeah. And the word modify comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I
Yeah.
know we project out as well too, project out kind of
Mhm.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, this is
Very good.
fun. I know that we had some computer issues in the beginning, but
I think they're all right now.
I called in and asked, hey, please.
Yeah.
The hard reboot didn't solve, but not my favorite thing to do. So we'll do it again. And
All
then,
right.
we encourage people to like, share, and comment. And ask, if there's
Subscribe.
something in particular that you'd like to know, sure, if we are so inclined to be able to do that, we'll, certainly do it. And in the meantime, they can reach you at your email address, which is linked below, as well as my own. And questions are welcome. So great. Thank you again, Phyllis.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.